What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Movie Fanatic. My name is Ace, and Movie Fanatic, as you may have known, is a channel, actually a playlist in the Depressed Ramen Noodles channel where I talk about movie reviews of films I've seen either in theaters or online. Would have seen a lot more films in 2020, but the pandemic happened, so not a whole lot of films really came out, and the movie theaters are closed. But now that things are kind of starting to get back on the right track, movie theaters are opening, I decided to change not only just for movie theaters, but to do anything I see in the movie theater, anything I see on demand, and also I decided, why not do reviews on the DVDs that I own? So eventually I'll be doing those as well. I'm going to try to do a video once a week of every film that I see. Might not happen, but I'm going to try pretty hard to at least see a film on Wednesdays and then make a video on Thursdays. This video is on the new film on Amazon called Shadow in the Cloud. While traveling with top secret documents on a B-17 flying fortress, a female World War II pilot encounters an evil presence on board. Now, I gave this film 4.5 stars. Let's talk about what worked well with the film. Alright, number one, hip 80s music. Now, for a film that's supposed to take place in the 1940s, it's weird, but also really interesting to have really cool, upbeat 80s music playing throughout the film, especially during scenes of combat. It reminds me of Wonder Woman 84, which I did see in theaters. I probably won't do a review on that, but anyway. Well, I thought the 80s music didn't really work for Wonder Woman 1984, even though that did take place in the 80s. I thought it worked much better for a film that takes place in the 1940s. Number two, focus on Garrett. Garrett is our main protagonist in this film, and she is in a little space underneath the main airplane. Can't remember what it's called. It's the space that has the guns that they would shoot in World War II. She's in there because there aren't any other seats on the plane. The entire film, you only see the other men at the very beginning, and then not until 56 minutes into the film when the actual combat stuff begins. Otherwise, the entire focus of the film is on Garrett and the radio conversations that they have between her and the other men in the airplane. And it's actually really cool. I thought this would be boring after like 10 minutes, but no, it kept me engaged the entire time. And I thought it was really cool. Number three, the contents of the package. The entire film, Garrett is constantly saying, I'm here on this plane because of this package. My mission is to guard my package. It is confidential what is in it. You open it, you can get court-martialed. Do not open the package. And every time she was in that little space, every like 5-10 minutes, she would ask another pilot, Quaid, what's the context of my package? How is my package? Is it secure? Is it well? Now, this is a major spoiler alert, so if you have not seen the film yet and want to see the film without any spoilers, I would suggest you scroll over to this time and click on that time frame so that you won't hear the spoilers. I'll give you a couple seconds to hit that. Alright, so what is in the package? Well, apparently it's not a document, it's not secret government papers, it's not money, it's a baby. A living baby is in the package because guess what? Garrett's not really even a pilot, as she claims to be. She, in fact, was married and was getting abused by her husband, so she met with one of the people on the airplane, the Fool's Errand airplane. I believe it's Quaid. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's Quaid. They got together and she had a baby. Didn't tell me that she was pregnant. And so she decides to put the baby in the package and have it on the plane while fighting gremlins and shooting some stuff. Who brings a baby on a plane? Number four, the storyline. The storyline alone is actually really interesting, and doing some research upon it, which we'll talk about at the end, there is some actual historical context. The beginning of the film opens with a cartoon of a pilot talking about the destruction of an airplane being caused by a gremlin. Well, throughout the film, things are going bad in the plane, and they're saying there's gremlins on board this plane, and everyone's like, there aren't gremlins. Gremlins is a myth that the army has said to us to keep us in check. but in fact there really are gremlins and they're attacking the ship and Garrett herself. So the storyline is really interesting, especially when it has historical context on it. Now that we talked about what's worked with the film, let's talk about what could have been improved on or maybe even changed. And that is simply the 80s music. Don't get me wrong, I thought it was cool, but at the same time, I thought, I don't know. While I thought it was weird and interesting, I also was a little confused as to why you would have 80s themed music in a 1940s film. And that's why I gave it 4.5 stars. Now let's take a look at the history of the story of the Gremlins. The Gremlins was originated with the Royal Air Force, and it was claimed that these creatures were responsible for any and all sabotages within the aircraft. Now, the Gremlins in this film look nothing like the Gremlins that the Royal Air Force described in the 1910s through to the 1940s with World War II and World War I. The Gremlins for them were actually more cartoon-like. In fact, they were little tiny people. Just imagine a little tiny person with more of a blue pigment and had a long nose. And actually, Roald Dahl, who you may have known as the author of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and The Big Friendly Giant, he actually approached Walt Disney and said, yeah, I know the story about the Gremlins. And Disney's like, hey, that's pretty cool. Let me make a movie out of it. In fact, let me make a cartoon out of it. And Roald Dahl's like, I don't know, it's kind of my own experience and I should be able to, be free to claim my own property. Because of Roald Dahl's story, that is how he invented the character Gus the Gremlin, who you may have seen in cartoons, may have seen in comics, or you may have even seen Gus the Gremlin in the Epic Mickey video game series. And that is my review on Shadow in the Cloud. I highly recommend watching. You can rent it or own it on Amazon. You don't have to have Amazon Prime to watch it because I don't have Amazon Prime, I just rented it. But before we leave, I wanted to give you a favorite quote of mine from this film.
This bitch has got 200 hours flying over the Pacific in unarmed planes. Do you understand me?
And that's movie review, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Depressed Ramen Noodles if you like this video as well. You can also check out other videos within this channel. I'm Ace. We'll see you next time.